Life Matters continues with Dave and Nancy on Lake 96.1.
Grayson McHugh from At the Lake Magazine talking about Beer and Spirits Festival, the second annual, coming up in just a couple of minutes. Happy to be joined in studio with Judy Hehr, who is a relatively new friend of the show.
No, not now. Now she's an old friend.
I'm an old timer.
She's an old timer.
What, are you going to go pan for gold later, too?
Don't put it past me, Dave.
Hey, listen, after some of that news from Bob Clockers, that may be the way to go to
have you got some gold laying around?
Yeah.
I do not.
It's never been higher.
Yeah.
Judy is going to become a more familiar voice to you. Her show will be preceding Life Matters beginning next Sunday.
For a minute there, I thought you were going to say preempting.
No.
Like, whoa, what did we? We like totally canceled ourselves.
And what's exciting to me is up until you joined us for your first sit down with Nancy and I, Judy, maybe what, 2 months ago, give or take?
2.5
months ago?
6.
Has it been that long?
I've been procrastinating this for quite
Holy
some
cow.
time.
It's
About
been
5
about
months,
6,
actually.
yes.
Yes.
The only experience you have with radio is the one in your car that you listen to.
That is correct.
So that's why, in fact, a perfect example, you had gum in your mouth, don't you?
No, I just had a long piece of hair.
Oh!
It's all good.
That's one of the biggest no-nos in radio is chewing gum. It'd be like, boy, as if she planned that. And why this is going to be very exciting for me is because, you know, I've been doing radio for many, many years. So has Nancy. But you're going to bring a new perspective to life to our listeners every Sunday morning starting at 7:30. And we can't tell you what that perspective is because it's going to be whatever Judy probably thinks of as she's driving to the radio station on Sunday morning. But that's what's exciting. It's going to be relatable to women who are going through the same experiences that you are as a mom and as a wife and as a successful woman.
You know, apparently people find my life very comical, and I believe that we could have a reality show at my home, just with what transpires. And I've just come to find out that so many people love my misery. Like, people like misery. And so when I share the battles...
love company. That's
it.
what it is.
That's it. And so I think that is what draws people to this dialogue, is so you can stand before them and say, this is what I'm dealing with day in and day out, trying to be who I'm supposed to be for the people in my life. And it's hard. It's really hard work.
It is.
To be passionate and purposeful. And
you say so many things, though, that because my children are grown and now I have 2 grandchildren. And you say so many things, though, that I say to myself, oh, man, I wish I would have thought of that and said that to my kids.
Well, my kids would beg to differ. They wish I didn't think of it and, more importantly, never spoke it. Yes.
Or at all.
Yeah, exactly.
When you say people like your misery, I don't think it's so much that they like misery. It's just nice to know that someone who is an equal to them is going through maybe the same problems that they're going through. Because let's be honest, sometimes you feel like you're on an island in life, that you're the only one going through financial hardship, problems with your spouse, issues at work, whatever it may be, big or small. And it's not a good thing that others are going through that same thing, but it can be a comfort to know that others are going through that exact same experience that you're going through.
That is correct. Greatest fear in life is to be alone.
Right.
To feel that you are alone. And so that no 2 greater words ever spoken, me too. Me too. Like, we long to hear that as people. And, you know, when I say about the misery, I'm kind of kidding. But the reality is I've been down and out. Emotionally, financially, spiritually, in my marriage, relationally. And so I think that I come from a perspective that is so not filled with the normal judgment and condemnation that I think many of us have felt in our life.
Right.
And so to say, like, I've been there and done that, and so I get it to the degree that I can get it, just knowing that, you know, life isn't always and doesn't always turn out as we anticipated. But despite our worst efforts, despite myself, I often say, God has come in and said, oh, no, baby, like, I have plans for you.
Right.
And you were not faithful to me in plan A, but P.S., I'm faithful in plan B. And so I have been able to be picked up, allowed myself to be picked up and used by God. And I remember someone saying to me, a very faith-filled spiritual woman that you would look at, hold on a pedestal as, you know, to emulate what it is to be
Mother Teresa-esque?
Exactly. And when we spent some time together, at the end of that dialogue, her response was, if God can love you, he can love anybody. And I didn't take that in a negative way. That was a compliment, because I know that the short conversation her and I had grew her faith in a God that was perceived in a different way. And so,
well, and you know, that's a good point, because that's the thing is that you definitely, and what this show is kind of about is what your show is kind of about, everybody goes through the same things. All of us moms, want to kill the teenagers. All of us moms, are ready for the babies to not be babies anymore and to talk and to what, and we're almost over anxious about them growing up, but yet we don't want them to grow up. And all of us question, second guess, our decisions, every one of us, and wonder years and years and years after that decision was made whether or not we made that right decision. You, however, so we're all in the same boat. You, however, put a different spin on it. That's the difference, is you are very good at turning it around and putting that comical view, or, making it okay to say, I completely screwed that up. And with the next kid, maybe I won't do that. Well, maybe I will. But you know what? I'm admitting that I'm not perfect.
And to go back to the relatable factor, there's a reason why Oprah was very successful and still is. But you are a local. You've gone through literally the same experiences as a lot of our listeners. And Oprah had a huge following because of who she is and what she accomplished and the business decisions that she made, and she's to be commended for that. But Oprah is almost like a mythical figure in some people's minds. She's this person on their television. While they relate to her, she's Oprah. Where you're going to hear Judy on the radio at 7:45 while you're having a cup of coffee, and then you may see her at the grocery store buying a cup of mayonnaise.
And hear me yelling and swearing at my children.
Right.
Exactly. So there's a relatable factor there that is the most exciting thing to me. And let's be honest, radio is becoming more and more unlocal. Right. And when we have an opportunity to bring in someone who's gone through the life experience that Judy has not only had but is going to share with you, it's going to be must-hear radio because, A, you're going to learn something, B, you're going to relate to it, and C, you're going to want to come back and hear what she says the following week.
Well, and it's such a privilege for me to be able to be invited into your space and be able to share the journey, because that's what it is, a journey and not a destination. We're all about the sprint and not realizing it's a marathon.
Right.
And to know that if we're keeping our eyes fixed on the most important thing, and trying to be all that we were created to be, that there's always people that are going to come alongside of us and want to journey with us. And they're supposed to. They're supposed to want to. And we want them to. And I think that our past experiences distanced us from people feeling that we're not like them and we don't have things in common and they don't have the same struggles. And I'm here to say, this is going to be really hot. It's going to be honest. It's going to be open. It's going to be transparent. And it is for women. Now, let's be honest. I am a man lover, not a man hater. But half of the world is women, and the other half was birthed by women. So I want women to be listening, but I want men to be listening as well, because we know that as women, men want to please us.
Right.
So let's get men involved in this dialogue. Let's get men knowing what it is their woman, their friend, their wife, their mother needs, wants, desires, because we know you want to give it to us.
I don't want to put too much pressure on you, Judy, but you
so
get the sense.
Because I crumble, baby.
Tough. That's one of those things. Hey, I don't want to offend you, but nothing
feel
ever
free.
comes
It's
over those
really
words.
ugly.
With all due respect. Oh boy, what am I going to get ripped on?
Very disrespectful.
Exactly. You get the sense that at 8 o'clock, when your show is over, people are not only going to feel better about themselves, but also they're going to learn a thing or two as well.
And hunger for more.
Well, you heard me say, to me, our job in life is to leave people better than we found them.
Right.
And so if one person can hear something that speaks to their life, their circumstances, their situation, and be given just a little bit of hope, that's the verse.
Well, understanding.
Understanding. Wisdom. It's not that I have the wisdom. We have that within us. And the verse that's predominant on all of my promotional material is Romans 5:3-4. And it's suffering produces character. Character produces perseverance. Perseverance produces hope. And that's what we want. We need to be hopeful people in a time like you just mentioned, Nancy, having Bob Clockers on here, knowing the gloom and doom of our world. In so many ways it's fallen apart, but in so many ways it's more important that we come together and be in our little square of the world who we were intended to be to make this place what it's supposed to be.
And it's also about choices.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago we talked about, it was 9/11. Okay, well, how do you choose to honor that day or observe that day? Do you choose to be upset and grieve or do you choose to celebrate the strength with which this country came together and celebrate being a patriot, being a citizen of the United States, of this great country. So it's about choices and how you choose to accept your own mistakes, and like I said, you most of the time put a very different spin on that, but a positive spin on just being a normal person who makes mistakes every day and who, hopefully is doing the right things and then also, but yet also a person that is confident, equally, yes, I've definitely done the right thing and I would absolutely do that again. That's what it is every day. It's 50-50, is it not? I mean, we just don't, and especially moms. Moms don't take care of themselves. They are the one that everybody counts on no matter what. Whether it's your kids or your husband or your parents or the female is the caregiver. Period.
But we can't give what we don't have, Nancy. We try so desperately to draw from an empty well and reach outside of ourselves to fill those spaces, those deep, cavernous holes in our soul that were created for goodness and joy and love and life and mercy, and try to make it about something other than those things, then we're doing a disservice to all the people that God put in our life. And here's the thing, I don't want to deter people from listening to this show because it's all about God.
Right.
My belief is that's where it all originates, and that's where it's all going to come back to. But somehow I'm going to ask you, please, as my listeners, to just listen to the similarities and not the differences in what this journey called life is for you personally. This is your radio, online, on air, WLKG. I'm so excited to say that. Did I say it right?
No. Well, your radio, on air, online, but potato.
Lake
It is what it is.
We're excited to have you, though. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be very energetic, and I think it's going to be something that is very powerful. And when you can produce powerful radio that's healthy and, in a sense, healing, I think, you always take advantage of those opportunities. And I think that our partnership with this is just going to be tremendous for the community. And like I said, healthy and powerful. And
I love healthy. Mm-hmm. I love wholeness because...
And like this show, which is rather unhealthy most of the time.
And I don't think people realize that sickness... health is as contagious as sickness.
True.
And I mean emotionally and physically and mentally. It permeates all through our being and the places and spaces we spend our time. And to know, I want my listeners to know that the journey for me has been from a tremendous degree of brokenness.
Sure.
Not to wholeness, far from it. Not what I want to be, but not what I used to be. There's the fact right there.
But you have to have goals.
It is the journey. It is the journey.
Yeah.
And so every day we pick it up and we try to do the next right thing, like you said, which in and of itself for some of us is so difficult because we do not know who we are, whose we are, and what this is all about. But as long as we have breath, then there's a chance to do this right as it was intended and be life givers. And that's what I want this show to be, life giving.
Are you excited?
Jacked beyond belief, scared to death. Like I always have, I told you the off wide open thing. I am as scared as anyone could be, but I got to tell you, I am equally knowing. Here's what I know. I know that this is just one more instance that God has called me to. And so lucky for me, I'm called, baby, but I'm still clueless. Let's know it. But I know that he equips the called, and I know I'm called to do this because I know that people need to hear a message of hope and healing and wholeness for their life. They just do.
Yeah.
And it's a privilege for me to be the person that gets to be used because God can use anything, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here.
This reminds me of an analogy. You ready? I'm the king of analogies, Judy.
It's going to be a sports analogy.
No, it's not.
Oh, my gosh.
You're on a roller coaster, and it's just about to start going down. So while you're scared, fill in the blank, you're still excited at the same time.
You're like,
and right now you're at the tip of that roller coaster, and you're about to go zoom, and you're going to
there's
enjoy
so
every
many
minute of
people
it.
in my life who would refer to their relationship with me as a roller coaster because it's like, baby, we're going up. Oh my gosh, we crash and burn.
And now we're
What
going up.
happened?
Yeah.
Not so much a grace-filled moment when we're going down.
You just got a taste. Listen next Sunday morning and every Sunday morning, 7:30, Journey with Judy, right here on Lake 96.1, and obviously we'll still be in our spot. The second annual Beer and Spirits event extravaganza coming up at the Abbey in just a couple of weeks now. Tracy McHugh from...
It's a festival.
That too. Tracy McHugh from At the Lake Magazine. She'll be here in 2 minutes on your radio, Lake 96.1.